see your face, I can feel it coming back. These shivers are every day. Whoa, I say it's over, I get out of bed. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to CCL. I'm Binks, and I'm joined here by my great friend Cairo. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great, mate. Glad to be back on CCL. It's been, I think, a full 2 days since I've been on, so I'm quite excited to be back.
It's been, I think, no, I was not on Wednesday. I was on over all the way back on Monday. It feels like forever
Right,
ago.
okay,
So
yeah.
it's once again, it's amazing to be back. But we have quite a big game coming up tonight. We have Tide Pods taking on NOOTERS. So we can even take a look at where they sit in the standings. But they are looking to be two pretty good teams.
Yeah, without a doubt already, NOOTERS taking that top spot. I think they were playing Aerial Rise, yes you are, because of the wins with 0 points. Cap as well had a pretty good run of it last time, but yeah, I mean, these two teams look at a pretty good match.
I do. I think we are expecting NOOTERS to more or less come out on top because of how much of a statement they have made in their previous games. But I don't think we can count Tide Pods out of it just yet, where they still were able to obtain that 1 point, which means they got a map against Catlaf. So Tide Pods could have a little bit of a fight in them that we just don't realize yet.
Potentially could be that case. I mean, Tide Pods last time against Laugh when we were, I think we it was. I don't think it was yourself that casted it. I remember casting it. I think it was with Yale, if I'm not mistaken. Tide Pods actually had a good showing all in all. Good first map, but kept slipping up. And if you're playing against the likes of, I mean, you know who plays on NOOTERS, then you'll easily get punished.
Yeah, we're not going to keep the suspense for too long of who plays on NOOTERS. We're going to go ahead and show you guys the rosters because that will give away our fun little secret. So as these beautiful new graphics come up, we can see that on the side of Tide Pods, we have Aquino, Tex, Mommy, Steelio, and Hypers. But let's go and look at NOOTERS. Trist, Storms, Snake, Pengu, Quartz. And no, that's not just a lookalike name that the double take that I did the first time I saw the NOOTERS roster. I was watching my screen, I look to my right, and I see Pengu. I'm like, and I did it. I fully did a double take. So yes, that is the Pengu.
Yeah, is it Quartz? Is that Quartz that I think? Did they not used to play on Mirage? Is that the same Quartz from the Canadian League when it was running? Am I mistaken?
We'll have to get a stat check on that. I do believe so, though. I hope we're not mistaking them for someone
Yeah.
else. But regardless, NOOTERS is looking to be quite a stacked roster that has a lot to bring to the table. But then again, we can't count Tide Pods out of it because we've seen how with a team like Tide Pods, they have an ability to work into the map and just have an overall game sense. Although it does seem like the overall leveling field here should be the map picks and where we actually go and who it's going to favor.
This is true, and with that being said, we are going to get straight into this map veto, and we're going to see exactly what is coming through. Border being banned out here, that's pretty standard stuff. I mean, we expect it's kind of coastline. They didn't have the best showing last time out. Oregon being banned from NOOTERS though.
Oh, awesome. I love that. In case you weren't aware, Oregon, or more commonly known as Borgen, is really boring to commentate on just because of how much of a solidified meta we've gotten to. It seems like the same thing every single time, but on the side of Tide Pods, it looks like they're not trying to go to any of the new maps. They'll get rid of Skyscraper, and NOOTERS get rid of Clubhouse. It's such a contrasting ideals of bans here, where we have the new being taken out by Tide Pods and the old from NOOTERS.
Certainly is. Cafe going to be that first pickup? Yes, I think that was where Tide Pods actually won out against Catlaf. Makes a lot of sense. They will be starting on the attack there. Our next map that NOOTERS have picked up, let us see exactly where we're going. Villa, a really interesting one, can be very dynamic sometimes, and sometimes it can be very structured, so we'll need to see how NOOTERS play out that one.
Yeah, theme park next to go. No surprise there. I don't think that Tide Pods have any interest on playing the 3 maps that just came into the map pool because they aren't as well versed. So that leaves our final decider is Chalet. And Cairo, I gotta be honest, these are 3 of my favorite maps to cast. I know Cafe is like iffy amongst casters, but I personally love the idea of Cafe because you have such a standard clear where you go 3rd floor all the way down to the 1st or however many levels you have to go. But we still teams, especially in the defensive end, force variations, and it really shows what the foundation of a team is made of.
I think as well, though, it kind of plays into NOOTERS' hands playing in Cafe. I mean, we know who's on it. I think they actually have two ex-Canada PL players in their teams in Storms and Quartz. Then you've got Pengu as well. So there's three players that know how to play Cafe at a very high level. No offense to Tide Pods, but you are coming against probably some of the best players in North America, and Pengu included. They're going to know how to do the clears. They're going to know how to go direct. They're going to know everything about these takes. I feel as if Cafe will be a NOOTERS map, and I think this could be a 2-0 just by looking at the map bands.
Well, I personally would love to see Chalet because Chalet also shows the diversity in each roster.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of it is a very valid point to say that this could easily only be the two maps that NOOTERS need, because Villa plays very, very similarly to Cafe. So I'm really interested in. I know we're not even in the map yet, but Kyle, do you have any preemptive operator bans? Do you see anyone in particular?
There's only one operator that I think in particular is going to be that Thatcher ban. That's almost guaranteed. Probably Valk as well. I think honestly though, what I've been seeing is a lot of teams have been banning out Finca recently in EU, or that's what's been tossed around anyway. Just due to the sheer fact she brings so much in terms of healing, frag grenades. I mean, I think she's got the Gun 6 as well. That's so much in pocket. Teams are like not struggling, but she's becoming a bit of a crutch recently. I would really like to see a Finca ban here on CAF, because again, CAF can be really structured, and if it's going to be structured, what's the best way to kind of defeat an attack? Take away some good destruction.
That's a really valid point. We've seen the return of like a really big nade and explosive meta within CCL as well as the grander scope. We see that especially in Pro League, where a lot of these teams are opting to take the Ayana, the Finca, the Sledge, and that's already 3 sets of nades. And there's so many operators. Or I remember a Nook play. I can't remember which team took it for CCL or even in Pro League, where the Nook also has the capability of take both either the nades or go over to the secondary hard reach, those can openers. So it's a really interesting meta that nades, secondary hard breach, they all have a place that they fit in. And I want us to move away from the nades and more towards maybe going for more utility opening up with that secondary hard breach.
Potentially, mate. I mean, on talking on those frag grenades, another thing that people have been talking about recently that's been in discussion amongst all the little groups is Glaz is actually starting to become a little bit viable. The fact he's got the 2 nades and the Gun 6 is like an impromptu Ayana, which would be interesting to see if he did come to fruition and that operator came out.
Yeah, I'm not expecting to see a Glaz, because
no
when you say Glaz, there's one map that I think of, and it's Coastline Kitchen Service. Besides that, I don't think Glaz has too much of a place.
Yeah.
And if you're going for possibly a clear from Oregon Kitchen Dining, then that's where you would be taking the Cali rather than the Glaz. It seems like Glaz once again becomes that crutch operator. But we can stop speculating as we are diving right on into our game.
We certainly are the first of the bans to come through, and we're almost expecting to see this Thatcher ban come through. They're asking for some noots in chat. I wonder if that chat's going off right now. Thatcher to come through for the first ban. Almost expected. You could have put your mortgage on that.
You really could. Stop typing? No, don't stop typing. We like fans in the chat. We got fans in the booth as well. But Montang, that's not what I was expecting to see. And that's coming from the side of Tide Pods. So Tide Pods really looking to make an impact. And now I'm interested to see, could they go for a crazy defensive ban? Maybe getting rid of, I think Thorn is on the table now. Do you see them going for anything crazy?
Nah, I doubt it. I really doubt it. It will be the standard stuff. Yeah, there we go. Valkyrie off the board. Valkyrie's so strong in Cafe because of all the repels, etc. Potential runouts, stuff that we expect to see. She's off the board. Last one is I'm not too sure in terms of NOOTERS. I don't think they'll be going for anything too crazy here. And it is going to be that Mira. So all in all, pretty standard bans apart from the Monty.
Yeah, I think the Montang makes sense to the degree that if you're on the side of Tide Pods, you don't want to have someone just rolling up and there's very little you can do. And if you don't take your defensive setup to account for there being a Montang, or that Montang's position is such a key pivotal position, you cannot move them. That's literally the entire idea behind Montang, that you cannot move him. There's relatively little you can do. So by eliminating that, Tide Pods has a lot more freedom on their defensive end to say, well, we can move around to here, or we have freedom to not need to take these crutch operators.
I wonder if I don't think we've got any players in the lobby with any iconic Monty plays on Cafe. Can you think of any specific
Well,
finals that we?
I know famous Montang you can go to Pengu, but not, I don't think necessarily on Cafe, so we could call that a target ban
What do you
by
mean
some
not?
standards.
What do you mean not necessarily on Cafe? Come on, man. The 2019, no, not 2019.
Oh my
You
goodness,
could-
oh, we're not
the
talking about that, we're not talking about that.
the
Oh,
final
man.
against EG. Come on, man. That's like the biggest thing. We're not going to talk about it anyway.
I'm not gonna lie, I was an EG fan at the time. I'm not gonna
Oh
lie.
no!
I
Oh
have to try
no!
not to remember. I've tried to push, I've suppressed that one down.
Well, I'm not going to talk about it too much then, mate. We'll move through on towards the first round, and it is going to be that kind of cocktail and bar setup. It's almost standard stuff here, Binks. Is there anything that you're going to see any potential aggression, but already a window being broken by Valor?
I think you already answered your own question there. Valor, and beautifully shown by our spectator, is going to be waiting to go for a potential run out. The wrench out will be there, but Hyper, they're ready to go, and I'm not too surprised. You can't try to peek those type of angles, especially when the attackers have such good information. Especially with Cafe, I feel like runouts like that don't work as well when you have an idea where they're aiming from.
I wonder if, what do you call it, what we're seeing here is Typods doing their homework and punishing for that. Another kill going their way. There goes Trist. I mean, as an attacker, mate, I'll give them that. There's a nice little C4 coming through from the main man himself, taking out Aquino, and that's the sledge gone. There's not much soft destruction needed in terms of the sledge all in all, but it is still a big loss in terms of needs.
It really is. They've lost a lot of utility, but Sledge did essentially get their job done. One of the hatches was open, the other one was blown open by the defenders, so not too much they have to worry about. Really nice impact. They did a lot of damage to Tex, and it's not something you normally consider when you're standing out on those angles. You don't expect an impact. You expect more of a C4 where you have more time to react.
Well, reactions coming through here, but only from Tidepod's Tex taking out Storms. That's a good pickup there. That's the Womagon. No more of that utility to come through, but there is still 1 minute and 25 seconds remaining. Seems if we are going to see Mushy Potat going right through, almost getting a collat. Tex punishes. Look at Lucy from behind. It's Snake coming through here. Gets one. It's into a 2 versus 1 now. A really good position from them to bring it all the way back. Hype Bear and Tex low. I don't know if we've got any adrenal surges that could help out here, trying to spray through with a pistol, not hitting the mark, and trying to escape scatter away from this gunfight. 1 minute left, and these two attackers seem to be resetting, potentially going to drone, but here the Malusi has found an opportunity, swings, sees the back end of the Finka. I think the Habana maybe knows was getting ready to swing there, and no, actually looks away the wrong time. Diffuser down, 40 seconds remain, 1 versus 1. Can we see the kill? No! Look at that, Snake denies. That's a 4K, and so well played.
That was phenomenal. From the flank up red stairs all the way to the rotate. As soon as I saw them go into kitchen, or sorry, not kitchen, into the freezer, all right, they can play it back. They're going to wait for the post plant. No. They were ready and waiting. They had the information. We even saw that possibly a default camera. Because we did see the red ping onto the final player of Tex on that Finka. Absolutely astonishing to see such a a brilliant play and a brilliant use of positioning on the third floor.
It's crazy though how well Tidepods played that round. I'm not gonna lie, NOOTERS should have been absolutely out of sight. To be honest, they shouldn't have even got a look in. Tidepods, I mean, they got the first 2 kills, and it was just trading all the way through. Somehow managed to lose a 4 versus 2, allowed a mute to walk through Cigar door. That's such a big mistake. Come on, guys. This is what I was talking about in the pre-game about Tidepods leaving little gaps, little mistakes, and when you play against the best, you get punished for every single little mistake.
Thorn coming out this round, and you're probably wondering, well, what is the point of having a Thorn around? And it's basically the same idea if I were to put a frost mat on the other side of the window. You force them to look down in an area that they can't look down. So a really good instance is that we saw within Bakery. We saw a Thorn trap placed, and a second run out from Snake. That one will not be punished as much. Snake could go for a second one. But as they go for these crazy runouts, it pushes the attackers into a position where they have to either look around, drone out this trap, and shoot it preemptively, or they have to advance more than they're willing to, pushing into the unwelcoming arms of the defenders.
Well, it seems as if Tide Pods are taking their time and approaching the building after all the runouts, knowing that there's possible traps around every single corner. The traps that we were talking about just there, those thorn grenades that can just pop out from either place right now. Holding along and go Kenio, trying to lock down this area and towards Small Bakery. It seems if Tex has taken a lip of damage. That is from Triss, denying the intel there, which is good work from the Cade. C4 goes out, probably won't hit the mark. Yes, there we go. The information's there. And that is just a waste for the time being. Sledge nearly getting caught out. And it just seems to be just constant skirmishes here for the Cade. But there seems to be a little bit of pressure being put to upstairs, but not before Valor gets one of their own.
They've done a phenomenal job so far. They know that there's no roam clear, most likely from drone information, but Tex, we talked about those little holes, and this is where you could have one possibly set up. If a defender does manage to slip by the crazy shot from the Finka, but Cairo, I'm quite curious. How on earth could they allow a defender to slip by? But there it is. That's how you open a hole. Those single frags, when you spread yourself thin, especially with one player on red stairs, that opens the door for another defender to rotate into Bakery, or another one to rotate out of Bakery and just hold immense amount of angles.
There's information on Valor. Yes, there's the drone that has just been shot out. There was a player on that, by the way. And now Thorn trying to engage there. Can't find that out. Can't find the shots to connect. The Sledge walking with trepidation, not wanting to get picked up. The bullet's still trading, but again, nothing getting picked up. A minute left to go. And right now, all the players are just kind of stopping, waiting to see if they can pick up anything for free, and nothing is coming. All the defenders are playing inside of sight just now. I think that was a young Candela mother throwing that through. Just seems as if we're not going to be able to get to that stage just yet. 30 seconds remain, and with 4 players inside of sight holding crossfires, this looks like almost a win here. Here we go, the first Candela to go out, maybe the second as well. The player inside of the freezer will be first contact, and there we go, the answer. Snake being that first contact, getting that first pick. Seems as if Aquino has decided to split up, not going to play in tandem with their player, but Stelio's got one. Now it's actually open up, 2 versus 2. Need to go for the frags. Diffuser does get dropped, missing the shots onto Snake. They'll clean up, and they seem to be on an absolute rampage this map.
They really are, and it came down to, we saw a lot of different things tried by Tide Pods. First, the initial push towards Bakery. That didn't work out too much because I believe they didn't expend as much utility. They did see that there's 2 Jaeger ADSs, and the players on the side of NOOTERS were getting really aggressive within Bakery, but they just didn't put as much as they needed to. It was such a staple of NOOTERS to say, hey, we're not giving this up. We're playing our lives here, and they weren't able to find their picks. Furthermore, once they rotated around, we saw a potential freezer push, especially in through VIP Lounge on the first floor. I was quite curious to see that late round, they had a lot of utility. We saw that with the fact that Ying still had 3 Candelas. There was no nades left for the Sledge, but it begs the question of, if they would have dumped or used that earlier on, would they have been able to take control of Bakery, a part of the site that NOOTERS clearly showed that they want to have control of?
We are moving towards Reading and Fireplace now, the tertiary site, but I mean, I'm not going to lie, Binks, I think I really rate this site nowadays. I think it's kind of, I'm not going to say it's well, I guess it is. It's kind of like Kitchen on Chalet. The fact that you need to defend upstairs, it's almost like defending Cocktail to defend below. I mean, there's a little bit of intricacies with the basement as well. Seems if Valor is going to go for a spawn pick. I don't think anybody's are there. But all in all, I think this is going to be a really good site. And the way NOOTERS are playing, I think this might be another another round to them.
It's going to be interesting. Mushy on that Pulse. We haven't talked about them too much, but the power that Pulse is on a site like this is, Pulse is normally the one off-site. You maybe Garage on the side of Cafe, you see him in sight, but even then he could be playing inside of, not Analogy, sorry. He's sitting on the side of Blue, waiting to see which players are coming in if they're going for the break room push. In this situation, he's able to sit inside a Cigar or even inside a Train and a lot more comfortably use that cardiac sensor to get all of these attackers, mainly because there's no way for them to clear him out.
Look at these two roamers. Look at the positions that they're holding, keeping this map control, but also staying hidden at the same time. The Jaeger pops up to deny the intel, and nobody has picked up this player that is on stage of Cigar. That's going to be a huge spot. Seems as if the sledge is going to break through somehow. Look at this. The C4 comes through. Snake didn't get one, but Valor did. Popped up from stage and is starting to bob and weave, throwing those punches. It's been an absolute clear out. It's been an absolute surgical strike. Nooters, they are, I mean, they're just some of the best players that we've seen here in CCL, and they're really showing.
It really is down to the 1v4. Daddy storms to find it, and I'm not too surprised because we saw the exact same hole, the exact same lack of security held. Where I think Tide Pod, they went for the Amaru hook, but perhaps a gridlock or a Nomad would have been exactly what they needed. Because for the second time, I believe it was Snake on the Malusi, went and had the flank of a lifetime, taking out and completely cutting everything down on those red stairs.
Yeah, those red stairs were painted red, to be honest. With Tide Pods, it was just ridiculous. I mean, players were coming for left, right, and centre. I mean, this was probably the best round that we saw from Tide Pods. The patience on the run out. They also managed to get another player from the kind of skylight there. On top of that, I mean, they established a 4-2 control, and the player count then just let it slip, and then Snake did their business. Pengu running through that kind of Cigar doorway as well. All in all, that was a pretty good round from Tide Pods. So I wonder if they can try and recreate that, or NOOTERS just found that winning formula.
10 seconds left before insertion.
I don't think it's a winning formula just yet, because within the first round, NOOTERS did get over aggressive. But I think if Tide Pods were to play into that, because you mentioned in the first round, I wonder if they did their homework. And that is something that we have to consider. I don't think we've considered nearly enough, because as this feed comes out, it's clear that Tide Pods has awareness, has an idea of the type of play style that NOOTERS is going for. And once they get onto the roof, if they catch players, if they use these repels to their advantage, where they cover each other, where they set up a clear trap trying to get NOOTERS to run out, I believe that could work to their advantage.
Oh no, the spawn peak comes through. Mother escaping with their life. Doesn't seem as if there's going to be any more from Trist there, as the player is pinned down behind the house. Don't think, all in all, I don't even think it's a house. Would you call that like a stall? Trying to contest up there, but the docks dropped off well before. I don't even think the players have actually got up to the roof properly just yet. Sledge is trying to beat out this C4. There's nothing to come through. And well, there we go. A minute left. Oh, sorry, a minute gone, and we've still not got the hatches open. This is good delay from NOOTERS right now. And the docks still trying to see if they can find this player in towards market. Oh, and there we go.
Finally. A minute 51, and Ayana of Mother is now finally leaving the spawn point, taking out the very aggressive Trist on the dock. But at this point, I think that Trist did his job. He 1 minute in exactly as Trist is saying, 1 minute still in spawn. At what point do you say I need to give my utility? And it's the Ayana. If it was maybe an operator that normally stays back, maybe if it was Tex who just died to storms. If it was Tex who stayed back and just waited, who can still assist their team, then that's a completely different situation.
I think we are preparing to move in towards Cigar, but do they know of the Goyle's positioning? Holding close with the Vector, and there's not a better weapon other than a shotgun, to be honest. The player on stage actually manages to get the down, and there we go. We'll get a finish. Somehow someone has got Stelio, I think, has picked up Snake. I don't know if that was maybe from below, if they were waiting for it. Valor's trying to hold a long angle, and they are really pinned down, hemmed down here inside of red stairs. Tide Pods can't get out. Daddy Storms is helping out, and it seems as if right now there is going to be a trade. It's a glorified 2 versus 2, and it seems the Goyle is still close on the breach from what we last saw. No has relocated to that Cigar door on towards top red stairs, and is just holding down that for the time being. Don't know. I think Storms has been rezzed as well. So right now we are in a 3 versus 2 scenario where the defenders do have that advantage. The Goyle fire continuously deny him with 20 seconds to go. These last 2 remaining players will have to try and find these defenders. Gonna have to go through Cigar, actually delaying, diverting their diverting their path, and with that being said, they didn't even check in towards Cigar's shop. The Goyle picks up that kill for free and finishes out the round.
That was beautifully played by New Neuters, and once again, the crutch of Tide Pods was that red stairs hatch. Not New Balcony, not anywhere else. Well, besides the spawn peak that we saw from Trist, I believe. Yeah, it's Trist that was on the dock going for the spawn peak. But it really begs the question: is Tide Pods starting to play too scared? Has Newt Neuters gotten into the head of Tide Pods? And that's what I'm starting to wondering in the back of my mind as well. But it's not like the foundations for Newt Neuters isn't there. This Tachanka pick, but I want to focus once again on the Thorn pick because it actually worked last time. When we saw the Sledge of Aquino push in towards Prep, they got hit by that Thorn trap, forced them to move up way further than they were comfortable with to avoid being killed by the Thorn trap. And then they met their demise once again from the cross angle set up by the Malusia snake.
Well, it seems as if Tide Pods, whatever they do, they just cannot find any sort of winning solutions. And I like the fact that they're still sticking to the guns and what they're bringing. I think that they're bringing what the Ying and the Buck this time. I mean, it's a good... I don't want to be rude, but it's a good scrim, I guess, to go up against the best and try your strats. But, I mean, it really has been a tough showing so far.
It has. Kara, I got a question for you. In the world of spawn peaks, is there ever a level of too much spawn peak?
Never.
Never. A snake capitalizes on the opening kill onto Aquino. That's the Sledge. Once again, that set of nades, soft destruction. And soft destruction is such a key aspect of this kitchen site, and it's going to leave a lot more for Tex to have to accomplish, especially playing on that Buck. And they don't have a second hard breach besides those secondary hard breach charges from Tex, and they're going to be relying on that Hibana.
The reliance on the Hibana might be a little too hard here, considering the fact that what they'll have to do is, I mean, they're going to have to get the hatch open, and then either Freezer and or Bakery Wall potentially could get on towards the Red Steel's wall, but seems as if Tex is going to pick up another Buck gone off the board. There won't be much soft destruction other than the Chaco's shotgun, and let's be real, that's not really the one you want to be doing the work with. There's going to be a re-aggression up towards White Stairs. Hypebear gets storms, and oh no, the Thorn manages to win that out. Valor somehow picking up that kill, and they're going to swing again on towards the main bar area. Gonna have to try and go elsewhere. Hypebear ready to pick that one up though on towards White. Won't even win it out. Valor really trying to get these clips for the reel right now, get some content, but can't seem to find. Well, they're stuck inside of Freezer. I wonder if this is going to be one of those tactical timeouts where they sit and they talk about what has actually been going on, because right now everything is going wrong.
It really is. Rounds just slipping away within their hands, and I think the first round that we saw over on Bar was the closest round that Tide Pods had as a snake. Once again, finding every single pocket available, and I think that's just really attributed to such a powerful roam game, and it's so hard unless you set up a trap as the attackers and say, okay, so we know that they're going to be running around the second floor. Let's try to drone them out, have shots to bait out an overextension into perhaps, let's say, Fireplace, or perhaps into the main lobby. You can take them out from Terrace. There's so many different options, and especially with the overconfidence that Neuters has, they will swing right on into that, and you will have the cross angle. There you go. You've dealt with the roam game.
Well, it's going to be back to reading and dining. And with that being said, do you think I'm going to ask you a question this time, Binks?
Oh, finally! I've been waiting.
Do you think that Nooters are going to complete a perfect half?
Ooh, I do. For a few main reasons. I think that Neuters are realizing that that's within the realm of possibilities right now. So I would heavily expect for them to say, hey, why don't we go and try our absolute best to get this perfect half and possibly perfect game. We could see the bagel on the side of Tide Pods. So it's really, it's going to be a give or take dynamic with if Neuters gets this opening kill, or if they are the opening kill, then that's how the round is going to shape up. We'll see Neuters either go into a desperation mode or overconfidence mode once again.
Seems as if it is a kind of I kind of, I guess, a frenzy almost with these defenders. It's like how would I put it? It's like when a swarm of bees starts to go into that kind of like attack mode. That's what it's like with Nooters. They seem to be everywhere and anywhere, ready to cover everything, just attacking. Already we see the run out coming through. Unfortunately, not able to pick up the player that went onto the repel. But right now, it seems as if again it's just constant back and forth. It's like a rally. Mother's been downed as well. On towards Red will be picked up. And there we go. A minute gone, and there's already been a load of kills as Mushy Potato comes in to help out. 4 versus 2 for the final, I guess, 2 minutes.
Red Hatch once again, and this is going to be hopefully the last time I have to bring it up, but I don't think we've seen a round where there hasn't been a kill on Red Hatch. Maybe one of the kitchen ones, but still, that's unbelievable that so many kills have happened on the 3rd floor, even when the site is so far away, and a great use of this Legion. I really have to applaud Mushy because it caught the Zofia off guard, as well as it's delaying every single bit of the push, and Legion has sort of fallen out of the meta in favor of different players, but look at the Sledge of Aquino. They have to keep spraying. They have no options, as both Mushy as well as, I believe this is the Thorn. I can't remember who was playing Thor. I believe it was not Trix. It might have been Trix. I'm not sure. But
well,
beautiful half. That's a perfect half and match point for Nooters.
It really is, and I did say I think Cafe would really play into the Nooters, and they know how to play it. And I mean, on the defense, they've just been aggressive. They've just taken a fight to the attack. Now as they go into the attack, I wonder if we'll see fast-paced action like we have. I wonder if we'll see something else rather than trying to funnel in through Red Hatch. I wonder if they'll go below and towards that middle floor and actually really establish map control. I mean, that's what we tend to see from the higher tier players. I wonder if they'll continue with that trend. Oh, it's downstairs below. Never mind, it's Sun Kitchen. I'm talking nonsense.
I don't think you're talking nonsense because the clear that you always have to see on Cafe is top floor down. So that same, I'm not going to mention New Hatch this time. We're talking, sorry, Red Hatch. We're talking about New Hatch. When you go and you're pushing the New Hatch as well as the Skylight, you clear out everything. And the idea behind a 3rd floor to 1st floor clear on Cafe is that you're trying to do this as efficiently as possible because you guarantee that there's no roamers. Now, normally you see a Nomad or Gridlock or an extra bit of Claymores taken to establish a firm line that they are not going to get by. But in this case, it is going to be Trist switching to the Nomad, and I think that's the type of push we're going to see from Nooters. Based on their lineup, they're trying to take full control to the point where they have the air jabs to protect them, as well as protect that Maverick of Mushy who switched off the Osa. So a good changing, good adaptation, and phenomenal use of that attacker repick.
Stuff we like to see. We all like to see the new stuff come, the new features coming to good use. There is 3 players focusing on Bakery right now, which could leave gaps at the other side. I will need to see. There is 1 player above, so right now it seems to be all Fokery based. That's Bakery and Focused in one word, but Bakery and Focused. Oh my god, I'm trying to stumble over my words here. But there is going to be a focus on Bakery, and there's the first pick. Snake moving through. Good entries here. That's the second, and well, there is 1 more that was inside a small prep, what do you call it, prep, but there is nobody left there. They've all retreated, giving up the map control, and oh no, that Thorn gadget almost caught Snake out, but luckily gets away.
Yeah, I talked about that Thorn where either the Iona would have had to push up extending farther than they would have wanted to, or would have been stuck even further back, but the round just collapses for Tide Pods. It's looking like it's going to be a flawless one to win this out. Pistols out from Trist. A little sliver of HP. The boost will come out, and it's going to be a flawless round, flawless game, and flawless map for Nooters, and a beautiful shot from Snake to basically win it out.
Well, there we are, 7-0 for that first map, and I mean, all in all, Cafe just did end up becoming Nooters' map. That's probably the best way to describe it. Storms was absolutely crazy on that one. So, sorry, Storms. It's not Storms. I'm talking rubbish. Sorry, Storms. It's all about Snake. Snake played so well on that map. The entries that they got was crazy, and I mean, the clutches as well.
Yeah, it was really... the first round is... and I keep bringing it up, but it was honestly a turning point because, especially with the Thatcher, Montang, Valkyria, do you think that the Montang might have actually helped Tide Pods a lot more, where you're going in contending spawn peaks? who better to put out in the front line, the person who is guaranteed almost not to take any damage from the spawn peaks. You just have to look at it and you can call out exactly where they're peeking from and exactly how many angles you have to watch out for.
But I mean, one less gun to win out, to like, it's not really going to help you win gunfights. You know what I mean? Though the thing that just I think is the deciding factor is we saw one team win their gunfights, win their ones, and the other team didn't. Maybe they got caught off guard. There's other factors that come into those gunfights, but I really don't think a Monty would have helped that much, Binks.
Well, we have a nice 5-minute break coming up for you guys to all run to the bathroom, fill up your water, do whatever you need to do. But we're going to take 5 minutes. We'll be right back. Do not go anywhere. CCL will be right back.
Got nothing to hide. I got nothing to hide.
Welcome back, CCL. I'm Binks, joined by Cairo, and I think we're witnessing, as you said, a speed run in CCL. It does sound like we have NOOTERS speed running right now because they just won our first map, and it was not even their own map pick of Cafe 7 to, you can say 0-0, depending on where you're from.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. I just feel as if Cafe was always going to be a NOOTERS map. They all know how to play it. Yes, there was a lot of aggression. I think that, like, if they decided to stop playing aggressively and they played a lot more structured, I think they were always going to win it at the end of the day, unfortunately, for Tide Pods. I think that's how they played the defense, being aggressive, holding those positions. They just took the opportunities that were given to them. Tide Pods unfortunately made some mistakes. Villa, I think it could be more of the same.
Yeah, Villa has a really interesting dynamic to it. We saw a little bit of vertical play come out during the rounds, but there was never too much of a focus on that fundamental clearing because it was just an absolute frag fest. There wasn't the
Yeah.
opportunity for these players to get into position because it felt like more times than not, Nooters were actually setting themselves into a position where they could establish a kill box or establish a flank or just play in a way that they can run around the map carefree like it's a tea hunt. It was quite absurd to think about. So what I'm looking from Tide Pods is to correct that, maybe taking a Nomad or a really designated flank watch. That could be the Zero as well if you don't want to dedicate that amount of utility you have on Nomad. So you could take the Zero in light of an Iana in some cases, have those flank watch camps constantly ready, the Gone 6 if you need it, as well as the secondary hard breach. It's honestly a jack of all trades.
Well, I mean, I think the other thing is on top of that is the fact that, I mean, on Villa we do sometimes actually see a Nomad ban because of those staircases. It's probably there's what, 3 of them, and if you can control the staircases, you can almost control whatever floor you're on. On top of that, I mean, she's just such a powerful operator. I can understand the ban sometimes, but if that's the case, then yeah, a Zero or maybe even a Gridlock would be good to see. On top of that, sometimes we see Villa do turn into that frag fest. I'm thinking towards Red Landing, and we really see things start to pop off. It seems if we are going to get straight into game though, and Binks, I guess you can talk us through the bans.
Oh, thank you. I thought you'd never ask. Okay. Tide Pods is banning first. I'm expecting something crazy, maybe a target ban, but we didn't see too much of news on attack, so I'm going to say they go a little bit more wild, and instead of the Montang, we could see possibly a Finka ban, but I am not too sure.
We are going to see an Ash ban, unfortunately. I don't know why there was an Ash ban. I think we only seen Nooters attack once. Or I guess for 6 rounds, having an Ash rush in might be a little bit painful. The second ban, probably going to be that Thatcher. I'm not too sure if Nooters want to go through a different route, but I think they kind of stayed towards kind of standardized bans. Yep, there we go. Tim's a defense. I think we'll probably see a Mira ban.
Mira. I think
Yeah.
Mira. I think she just has so much power on these sites, primarily Aviator, and you can easily escape Villa without going for the Mira ban. But if you look at the style, the fragging style that Nooters have gone for, it seems like Mira would be able to eliminate a lot of those capabilities. And thank you so much for making it seem like I know what I'm talking about. But I don't think this is going to be the random X variable again, Cairo. We don't know what's coming up for this defense.
I think as well, another thing that we need to consider here is if the Mira was on board, Villa does have a high kind of verticality rate. I think you can probably go below, nade her out, but you don't really want to take the chances on those black mirrors. Mostly as the second ban, that's maybe to make things a little bit more flowy, a little bit more dynamic for these attackers. But whether that's the case, different story. We are going to head in towards round number 1 here, and that is going to be AVG for this first sight. It's standard stuff. We all know what's probably going to happen here.
I figured out what it was. Oh, what's the weekly caffeine budget for the Nooters? Not higher than mine.
I was going to say it's probably 0 because they're all sponsored.
Well, let's take the sponsors into consideration. And bananas. Okay. I drink lean. Well, regardless, I want to make it clear. I'm pretty sure Snake was target banned in both of those, where Snake was always on the Malusi, and I think Snake was on the Ash for the final round. So forcing them to take a different operator, but I don't think it's going to make too much of a difference, as Snake is just an absolute gunner, as proven from that first map.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I guess Tide Pods have somewhat of an advantage that Nooters need to come and attack them. We all know that Siege is inherently always going to be defender-sided due to the fact that the attackers need to attack the defender's setup. Defenders can manipulate the map how they want. I think still, though, Nooters always, I mean, from the just sheer fragging ability that they have on their team, they will always have that upper hand. I think we'll probably see a more direct take. I think they'll have more confidence to do that. I mean, we do see the Storms drawn down by that side already. Tristan Snake going that way. So yeah, I think that, or maybe actually it's a bit of a split take as players are coming from all sides of the map.
I like this though. This is quite interesting. I don't know where Valor took that little bit of HP damage from, but beautifully timed nade. I think that's just what we've come to expect. But this is a direct route for the knock, where you have a lot of noise being made by the other attackers. You want the knock to slip in unbeknownst to any of the defenders. below the radar, and that gives them the route to go all the way up towards astronomy or even up these red stairs. Depending on the push that they opt for, you have a few different options. Valor's going to go for the astronomy push, so possibly droning for themselves or waiting to be droned for, as it's going to be Storms the first to be eliminated. Not what you'd expect, as Tide Pods is attempting to make a statement here. Trist with the refrag, however. And it appears that it's going to be a really big push on the site. If Tex didn't have something to say about this, it's back and forward, forcing Valor to really move up the timeline of their assault, which is not the type of Nook play you want to go for. Going as slow as they possibly can, creeping up in the cap can. They'll catch them off guard, and the flick was almost enough, but it just wasn't going to catch them, as Tex is the lonesome defender waiting for any sort of assistance that will not be on their way. He'll find one. That's the second one they have to the name on the round. Tex forcing their way into study. They're going to have to contest both Mushy on the ace as well as Valor, who previously got their kill on that Nook. They have a few options, but Nook's going to hide around. It's going to be a trade, in fact. Did not see that one coming out, but when you have the man advantage and case down, that trade is always going to favor the attackers.
Yeah, it certainly is, and well, the NOOTERS take that first round as we expected, and it seems as if Tide Pods, they just didn't seem to be able to get the trades to fall in their favour, unfortunately. NOOTERS were just scrambled in all the right places, and then, well, they made a nice little meal at the end. AVG going to be re-attempted this time. Tide Pods really throwing it all out the window. Going to even take a rook here. I'm not saying it's a bad decision. What I am saying is that it just seems to be more for the... I think it could potentially be more for the gun rather than for the utility that he brings.
Yeah, that could be it. I've always wondered that with different operator selections. How important is the weapon, and where do what's the fine line of utility versus weapon? And if we were to think of like an operator that their utility completely outweighs everything else. So let's say Mira, for example, had a horrible kit that did not fit her class. That would force a lot more team play. Do you think that Mira would see a drop in pick rate as well as ban rate? It's that fine line of how important is the weapon.
Well, there's only one way and one, well, good kind of statistic to base that off, and it's getting those kills. Looks as if we are already going to see a potential run out here from Mother in towards the bathroom. I don't know if they're actually going to go for it. So there's nothing in terms of information for that run out. It seems as if we are going to see a really direct take in towards that study, trying to put pressure directly onto site. Tex, though, has picked up Snake, which is a good one, considering how well they were fragging out last map, trying to shoot through the smoke, but it's going to start to dissipate. Daddy Storm's going to get picked up. It seems as if we're finally starting to take the fight here. Tide Pods really shutting down this chokehold. There is players down below. Valor, for instance, one of those. Mushy Potato and Trist still alive elsewhere on the map. Can't see anything through this smoke for the time being. Nobody want to peek a glass. We all know what it's like, and the kind of PTSD that we're feeling from previous metas.
Yeah, JFK indeed did peak Glaz, so you have to worry about that. If you know that Glaz, especially in the hands of Valor, that's going to be a really scary thing to think about. Finally, though, Hyper is going to be spotted out at the top of main stairs, but it doesn't change the fact that Mother has found Trist. This leaves Valor, and when you have a Glaz all alone having to deal with 5 different players, that isn't going to work as well. It's going to be a much more daunting task for them to deal with. Mushy to find one. That's the second player going down on the side of NOOTERS. There goes Valor. It's going to have to be an ace clutch to keep this flawless streak alive for the NOOTERS. Sprayed from every direction, and there you go, Tide Pods. They're on the board after 8 consecutive rounds.
8 consecutive rounds over 2 maps. We finally see a Tide Pod round. Can we get some claps in the chat? Finally, they answered back, and well, it won a piece. Is that maybe just poking the bear a little bit? Is that potentially what's going to happen here? Trophy room and statue is going to come up next. I'm even seeing a Caveira. Oh, okay. Just pick off him off at the last minute. Okay, I see how it is.
I wanted the Cav. I really did. If there's one experience that I've not gotten as much of as I wanted to, is being able to just yell that there's an interrogation, just being able to exclaimer. I think a lot of people still forget from time to time what interrogation is because of how rare they are, with Caveira just never seen play, and it's for a good reason. I think Caveira needs a little bit of changes, but there's no good way to change Caveira without completely flopping her kit.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Will she ever be? I don't know. I mean, there is still plenty of other operators that you could argue are more important to get that rework, but I don't know if that's the case. We are already seeing what looks to be standardized in terms of how the site is being set up in terms of long angles, the long angles to be held, in terms of the shields and the utility to be placed out. But I think the difference will be the likes of Mother playing all the way in basement, trying to catch people off guard, kind of using those one-off plays, and I think that's how Tide Pods are going to try and catch out Nooters here.
If they do stick to that, it could be quite convincing. Triss getting droned out on the bottom floor. Oh, well, that was fun. It was just a fun interaction with text and the drone. I think you guys could write a good, like maybe 10-page like child coloring book or child story just off that interaction alone. But we have deeper concerns within the round, and that's going to be how exactly is a Neuters going to clear out its trophy statuary site. Are they going to go aggressive? Are they going to clear below? And the answer is a good bit of both. The perfect balance in between, because without it, then you don't have the vertical play as well as you have a whole bunch of things on the ceiling. But you have to make sure you clear everything out. Otherwise, you're going to get caught off guard. As Mother has really taken the role of Snake from the previous game and just finding those holes and pushing so heavily on them.
Oh no, oh no, Tech's just messing up there, not able to pick up the Zofia. Nobody going to push her though, and will the Zofia going to be able to dip out of that? Vala managing to escape with their life. Trish trading it out though, picking up Stelio. There we go, there goes the one Maya. No more of those pancakes to continue through. Storms has been downed, is in a risible position, no, but no, rather go for the gunfights. Trish just walking straight into sight, going to get picked up here. And right now, Noodles are kind of falling apart. Seems as if that seems to be the case, though. A nice little swing from the Firemite gets Tex, and now in a 3 versus 3, or potentially a glorified 3 versus 2, if this raise doesn't come through. Oh no, things have fallen apart now for the opposite side. As I've tried to hand off there, seems as if the constant action doesn't want to stop.
Yeah, Mother has a really daunting task waiting on the plant. There's no C4 remaining. The Zofia will even catch Mother off guard. They're stuck down below, and with every single route, you can either go astronomy, red stairs, or even main stairs. None of them are actually viable. They have the yellow ping. They're hoping that a player, most likely this Thermite or even the Zofia, will rotate around, but it's going to be that Twitch indeed to just wait above that astronomy hatch and to find Mother off guard on the Mozzie. Just like that, Nooters is right back into this game 1-1. Or not 1-1, 2-2. 2-1. Math is really hard. Math is really, really hard.
Yeah, it can be like that sometimes. It can be like that sometimes.
Like the first round completely went out of my mind. I felt as if Tide Pods opened this game up and that we were seeing a second round that was so very refreshing where Tide Pods opened the round up with a lot of capabilities, but when it came right down to the wire, they weren't able to deny in the way that they needed to, or just hold their shots, win their gunfights, even with the over-aggression in Neuters.
I wonder if the first round went that fast, right? That you just thought in your head that like it just didn't exist. I wonder if that's the case that we could be
I
making
thought we
for
were
that.
still on cafe. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Right. Well, it seems if we are going to see a reattempt of statue and trophy, fair enough. Sometimes kitchen can just be a bit of a bombshell, especially if you're not comfortable on it. Same kind of setup here. It seems if the operators are a little bit more aggressive in terms of high bear on a thrust that can obviously place down the thrust mats. Still brings a shield along for that astral position, and we've got that Valkyrie. I think was brought last time. Alibi being brought this time as well. I don't think that was there. But with that being said, Mother is on the roam. That's a consistent that we can guarantee after seeing them get a couple kills on the roam last round.
I like the roam so far. It's found holes, but the problem is with Tide Pods, they weren't able to figure out what Snake was doing. In this case, I think they're going to be expecting Mother on the roam more and more until it reaches a critical point where we're not going to see those same frags. They're going to be spotted out before they get to make an impact. And as I say the words, as they come out of my mouth, we see that come into fruition.
Well, pushing through in towards kitchen, gaining this control downstairs. Potentially going to move up here, Astro here, but not even being able to contest the Valkyrie that was in Memo. That first kill was on towards the Aruni. A nice little trade from Steelio. Gets Trist. There goes the Finka. Nice kill. Don't know if there was any sort of nades left in pocket or they've gone 6, but it's still a lot and lost in terms of that healing ability and a big LMG to boot. There's a hot drone making sure Storm's path is clear to entry and towards Astro map control gain. But Steelio, that could be another thing gained. Hypebeard has been down. I believe that was from a nade. I'm not too sure. But nonetheless, there is 2 players down now, and that's going to be confirmed. Potentially another. His mother does get a C4 on towards Snake. And then this 2 versus 3. The defender's at a severe disadvantage considering the health. But Noah's going to be equaled out. What a shot that is from Tex. And it's down to a 2 versus 1. It's the 2-time world champ versus, well, 2 other players. Make it 1 now. Mother on the Mozzie downstairs. Remember how nice the kills were last time? Good roam potential, but this time got to retake site. You've got a minute to do so when you're placing, well, that thermite with the rifle in pocket, and does have plenty of information, trying to reposition it so they can go for a safe plant and hold this one down. Just trying to get information. Does see the Mozzie, does know where to contest now. Going straight on towards this bomb shot. It's a nice place because there can be a little bit of a head glitch, but there's information. Can actually contest here. The Mozzie finally sees the head pop through after the swing, and here we go. Can the Mozzie win this one now? Pinging away at that black eye can that was giving the info to the defender, and now Pengo in a severe better spot, holding that angle, wins it out, and we know why. He is that tier 1 player, and he is excellent.
Wonderfully done. And I have to be completely honest, it looked like it was slipping out of Noot's fingers, going right through them at one point, but they pulled it back. And of course, we have to say rip to the Valkyrie clip of Tex, but you came close. And I think it was a really valiant effort, and just the capability that they could have gone farther. We're not going to let that one slip away. You made it into my notes, if that makes you feel better, Tex. You don't have to worry too much. But regardless, I'm curious to see if Tide Pods, if this is a turning point for them, where they have the understanding where it's say, well, if one of us can actually go and get that flank that we've seen them go for so many times, what is there to stop us from doing the exact same thing to them? Could it be gun skill? No, because these players have proven that they can still win their gunfights.
Right, well, we'll need to see exactly what continues from that in terms of gunfights, etc. Nooters have taken a good advantage here, equaling it out at, well, I mean, at a minimum, equaling out at 3-3. But I think, again, the way that Nooters are playing, this is easily going to go and become 4-1, 5-1 potentially. Mother is going for a really ratty play that I have actually never seen before, Binks.
How have you not seen this before? That is such a common thing. That's literally part of so many meme strats within bedroom.
I've seen a closet play, like, in the corner, but I've never actually seen them fit in the closet.
Well,
Maybe,
you know what?
maybe it's just me being stuck, a hard stuck plat 3.
I think that's what it is. I think it's the fact that you are plat 3 instead of being along the level of possibly lower elo where you'd actually see that come out. Tex to find the opening kill. They are hunting for their clip. Trist to find Steelio, but that still leaves room for this 8-3 Valkyrie to still come up huge.
Well, Storms is going to try and enter in through Wolf here. Score the round count. Oh my god, I was actually going to talk about the player count, but I'm getting myself all muddled up. 4-4, even out, and it seems if Vault has been open, there is a player close by that can swing out. Doesn't have any sort of utility that's throwable unless you want to waste a toxic babe, which I guarantee is not advisable, not in this position. Mother somehow on the flank has got one pick, and that's going to be huge because now the attackers need to think, where has the Mozzie gone? And well, they don't know that is on towards Statue. Well, it seems if there is actually potentially information here as Storms knows after that C4 being thrown. Can contest. Do they know they're tucked hard right? Yes, they will. The swing comes through. Can't pick up the kill. Hitting the shoulder. Nade goes out. Storms gets the kill, but Hyper actually pushing up on towards 90. Oh no, the Zofia managing to stun themselves. Couldn't push through. Can't pick up the Womai though. And it seems as if it's going on towards a 1 versus 1 again. Constantly between these two teams. It comes down to the thin margins. And well, It's on a nice edge. The tension building, the diffuser down, and there's one adrenal surge. Their information on terms of noise wins out Storms against Akenio and Nooters. They go 4-1 up, making this guaranteed to be an attacker half.
That's exactly what you want to see as a new Nooters fan, and they really dominated that site. If you look at the way they were able to drive a skewer in, the fact that the Fink was situated all the way inside of Vault, forcing the Wamai of Aquino to have to really fight an uphill battle going into it. Not to mention the fact that they still had that adrenal surge ready and waiting, and it was such a brilliant clear from side to side. And Kyra, I gotta be completely honest. I'm starting to lose hope that Tide Pods will be able to recover this game. It seems New Neuters have now found their winning strategy on Villa, and it's just a matter of recreating it from round to round.
But can they recreate it from round to round? I mean, that's it. I don't know. It's just Nuno's just are constantly finding the gaps. They're constantly finding the refrags. They're playing as a unit. You can tell that they are. Well, comp players, and at the very minimum, comp players or even playing Puggy can, at the very minimum, just be able to refrag each other, playing close proximity and have an end goal. The end goal, obviously, is constantly being won out. 4-1 the scoreline. And this is a thing. We need to see more from Tide Pods. They're even bringing a cab this time. I don't know if that's the play.
I hope it is. I want to see, because Mother was able to find those holes early on, and if they are able to recreate that, then there's room for that highlight play, that interrogation to really ring out and force New Year's, because we've seen that Snake, for example, and I think that you have have Snake going against this Caviar, that could be a complete difference maker, but it's a matter of who finds who. Mother's situated right at the top of the right below Astro Stairs, so they have the capability to catch them off guard, but it's Snake that's going to be coming up behind them. So it's going to be a really big give or take sort of game, especially with things being at a 4v4. There's so much that's just left in the balance.
With all these smoke grenades, there's so many lines of sight that's actually been denied here, but oh no, look at this. The entries came through, the kills are starting to drop in. And well, it seems as if the Think of Storms is actually just going to hold up. Press pause on this push for just now, as they know there is a player in towards Vault, going to try and bounce that nade with a bank shot. Runs through, but just holds the sprint too long. Doesn't bring the gun up on time. And this is a 2 versus 3 in favour. Make it a 1 versus 3 in favour of these defenders. Surely you can't throw it like this. Oh no, the Cav getting ready to swing. Has the shotgun and will win it out. 4-2 now. Maybe this could just be an attacker-sided Villa. Maybe there is a chance here for Tide Pods.
That was wonderfully played by Tide Pods. We saw a really slow push from Mother on that Cav that netted them 2 kills. As well as if you look over to just the ability for Tide Pods to hold on to that vault, something that proved to be such a pivotal position just 1 round to go. I'm a huge fan of the way Tide Pods worked it around, and it's the recreatability that you talked about, where is Newt Neuters able to recreate their success, but that was not the case. And we can see them messaging in chat. It's a matter of like, why aren't you peeking? It's because they don't have to. Tide Pods gets to sit back nice and comfortable, and by not overextending, it's forcing Newt Neuters to constantly extend right on into them.
Yep, and now we move in towards a 4-2 split where the Newtoners have the advantage, and obviously they now move on to the defence. We're asking the question, is it maybe just an attacker-sided Villa? For right now, let's just go with the assumption that it's not, and that this can easily be Newtoners' map if they just hold fast for 3 site rotations, and we get to see that kitchen site that we've not seen just yet. Seen plenty of action down there though. It seems as if the way things are setting up, there is going to be a 2-roam presence here, and that's going to be actually focused down below, which is probably not a bad idea considering how many up-nades we've been seeing recently. Maybe even 3 roamers now that I've seen Storms.
Scary C4 from Storms, and nearly connected onto the Amaru, which is possibly one of Tide Pod's best players going into this map. rivaled, of course, by Tex, but they are going to be the first to fall, as it's going to be Pengu to find Mother. And a quick refrag from Tex is they feel a bit left out, as I said Mother was one of the top players, but no, it's actually Tex who holds the 2.0 KD as well as the top frag position for the entire game.
Well, it seems as if Living Room has been picked up here from Tex. A good position to cut off those returns to site. Any sort of rotates coming through. And maybe this could be the first one. Yes, it is. Tex picks up Trist. Nice little shot there, making it 4 versus 3. And continues on through, making sure to control that bottom stairs. Highbear, though, does get a trade onto the position. That was a nice little angle being held all the way from bar up inside of games. And right now, that is a 3 versus 2.
3 versus 2, and they have the control that they need. It's just a matter of if they are able to properly push and pinch out these remaining 2 players of NOOTERS. Drone game is still strong. 5 drones remaining, which means they have all the info they need, but it's going to be Valor to find the first opening pick onto Aquino, bringing this down to a 2v2, and they have a lot of different capabilities. The Alibi clone is going to be able to give away the location, looking through the floorboard. Snake not able to find it, however. Both these remaining players of Tex and Hyper, they have a lot of ground to make up, but do they have the time? A minute 15, the odds would say yes, spraying from side to side. They have the utility to worry about, but they don't know the precise locations of their opponents, and that could play largely towards NOOTERS.
What will it though? Will it though? That's a lovely shot from Highbear down in the player, and now it's 2 versus 1. Valor, but with one spray, could pick up a 2-for-1 deal. I don't know if that is what's going to be in store, as the 2 players have actually split up here. The diffuser has gone on towards that classical hallway, and it's only going to take 1 spray to pick it up. Now Tex has to rush, has to try and find the last remaining player, and there is information on their position, knows they are in vault. Valor with that SMG favoured at a closer position. Tex trying to use their long range rifle. Can't seem to find much. Seems as if we will now confirm the position with that Iana clone. Very close, looking towards the left side of the bar, but the reposition's on the right, spraying through the bar, gets chip damage, but Valor wins it out with a pop and a pop up and a nice little spray. NOOTERS win another round, and that's the first round they need on this half of 3 to win it out.
Wonderfully done, and as you said, pop goes the weasel. Tide Pods struggling to find grounds on that first round, but I think Tex just got cheated out of their clutch clip again. I think they might be establishing a little bit of plot protection. By the end of this game, they should get that clutch, and I don't know about you, Kyra, but I'm rooting for Tex. I want to see him get that crazy clip that he's been looking for, but it's just a matter of time, and especially with the momentum of NOOTERS constantly ramping up from round to round, it's just a matter of time before we see them appear to be unstoppable on this defensive end.
Well, with that being said, it seems as if in towards statue and trophies where we're going to see the next site, which is what we expected, and all in all, should again, do we favours NOOTERS here? Do we? I mean, some people would consider this a weaker site to EVG, but I mean, I don't know, because I feel as if the way things have went in recent metas and stuff, I felt as if AVG was the weaker site out of the 2, and the statue trophy was really starting to affirm itself as one of the kind of top defender sites, or the top defender site.
Yeah, I'm interested because on AVG, we saw that the clear from Tide Pods was a lot slower and more methodical. And I'm concerned because we did see the initial blitz pick, of course, that was picked off thanks to the attacker repick. But based on the lineup from Tide Pods, it doesn't look like they're going for any hard destruction. They have the 3 sets of nades, and 2 sets of smokes. It's quite curious to think about the precise capabilities they're going to, and getting caught reinforcing a barricade actually won't be Trist. That's Stelio on the Jackal getting lit up, and from who even knows where, Cairo, because we're only 2 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. And the attackers are once again taking damage. It feels just like Cafe.
It really does. But no, look at this. It seems if there's a somewhat different narrative to it, as we do see that Valkyrie being picked up, Storm's losing out there. Oh no, but there's an aggressive position of the Jaeger trying to retake this map control from the attackers, and Mother being picked up by Valor. I'm not too sure. There was an opponent outdoors warning, so I wonder if that was a run out there. And oh no, Valor's picked up Tex. Well played from them, and this is continuing to be absolutely rampant right now. It's only a minute and 40 in towards this game, barely even at half point just yet, and they are still trying to contest. Mushy Potato getting that pick on towards Stelio 2 versus 4. Trying to gain information with a Twitch drone, not to be advised, considering the Twitch still does have a drone in pocket. Will get Tristo, and there goes the smoke, there goes the Toxic Babes. 2 versus 3. There's one nade in the Sledge's pocket, but there's not much utility from the Twitch, only information.
They have everything they need. Nade being thrown out. Aquino going to be the one to fall. That's a triple kill for Valor. It's not going to be for his Snake to collect. And just like that, NOOTERS has 2 out of the 3, putting them on match point here on Villa.
Match point on Villa, and that's us. Binks, we're now finally at this point where NOOTERS can only end up dropping 2 rounds out of 2 maps in total, which is absolutely crazy. Out of a total of what? Let me think. Quick maths off the top of my head: 16 rounds. They only drop 2. That is 1 in 8 rounds played, which is enough to win you a map quite convincingly.
It feels like we've only seen a map and a half, because that in reality, that is all that we have seen. It's crazy, very, very crazy. But I think we have to also remind ourselves that Tide Pods is not out of it just yet. I think Tex is starting to develop a little bit of plot protection, and hopefully I'm not giving them the caster's curse by saying this, but Kitchen and Dining, them taking the IQ, it seems like this operator selection, and once again, I have to add this operator repick the moment you see that you're going to be going for this kitchen site. This is phenomenal because it gives, while there's only 2 drones remaining on the attacking side, they have so much information. It gives incentive to send your drone in early on. So just changing up the entire game. Really, really nice to see, but they have the ability. It's going to come down to how well are they going to cut off these early picks, early rotates, and how are they going to be more or less aiming to stop these aggressive plays, just like this one from Storms. They have the information. Now, do they go and try to pinch it out, or do they just let Storms go off, do their own thing until they run into him later?
That's a good point to be made. Well, it seems our Trist is going to pick up Highbear, and that is the Capitao gone, all the utility lost. Another nice pick there. It seems if we are going to see the Mute playing close on the laundry door, which is a nice place it could potentially be swung onto. Can easily pick up a kill. No, the pulse. No, distracts, and there goes the diffuser. The Mute in a key location just to hold this down unless anybody comes from behind. It's only Storms and Valor to protect. Storms gets 1, and this is a pure lockout right now. Can we see any sort of movement in towards the state? Is the Zophia's stuck in towards Pantry and Mother? I think they are both down in basement. I'm not too sure where it seems to be. It does seem to be a clear out of the basement. I'm going to move up towards the kind of clock stairs, the one that's right next to the China door, and that's to try and clear out Valor that was holding that long angle. More adrenal surges to come through to get that extra boost, and Valor is prone using a really ratty angle. Will the swing be good? No, it won't. There we are. GG's Cascade through the chat.
Wonderful play, and it was a rat play from the Frost, but at the end of the day, 7-2, you have to respect NOOTERS for getting it done with as little rounds as possible, only dropping 2, as you previously mentioned, and I'm not too surprised. It was a phenomenal showing from them, and they showed their ability to frag out. But a big shout out to my man Tex, who still managed to obtain the highest kill count in the lobby.
Yeah, totally well played, and I mean, NOOTERS were just so good. That's the crazy thing about it. Only losing 1 round for every 8 rounds played. That's a crazy stat to come out of that first two of this best of 3. But that's them done. That's us done, Binks, which is the crazy thing.
Yeah, it feels like we've only been here for just over an hour and 13 minutes on air. Wow, that was a really, really quick game for a BO3, but that is it for us. So thank you guys so much for tuning into CCL. We have one more fantastic game coming up tonight, so stay tuned for that one. I'm not sure who we have playing, but you could always check our socials, our CCL Twitter socials, and you have all of our socials down on that sliding bar. So you have so many different places to look, but we love having you here. Thank you so much to Northern Arena for powering our production, as well as to all of our other brilliant sponsors. We really, really appreciate it. But on that note, that's it for us. We'll talk to you later.